Nope, I was never offered an interview with Moistcritikal. Nope. Moistcritikal kept talking about me, and I publicly stated, if he wants to keep talking about me, he should talk to me. Rather than watch my highlight clips and detractor clips and shit, he should talk to the real person, because then he'll actually find out the truth about me, and he refused to do that. He literally publicly said, oh, I don't do interviews or nothing like, oh, so you make fun of people, but you don't talk to them. Does that sound fair? So then, years later, when exactly the same thing happened with Asmongold, I called him out on it. We had an interview, and after the interview, it went incredibly well. He actually enjoyed it and was like, wow, that's cool. And ever since, things have been good in that regard, you know, but that's because he gave me a chance. If you stop just watching toxic shit on the internet, guess what? Not everyone will be toxic. You see? But that's it. It's a whole culture of fucking toxic ass people who are cowards and sit there and throw stones from their own glass house and don't want to actually treat people fairly because they make money doing it. And it's sad and pathetic. It really is. But for me, I think that I reacted to it the way that I did, and I think that it was the proper way to do it. And because of that, it was just kind of a blip. Now, there's some people who hyper obsess over it because, again, they have no career in talent. So to them, to focus on someone else's embarrassing moment forever just means that they feel better about their own miserable existence. But for me, it's just something that's so long in the past and doesn't affect me, like at all. It doesn't affect me at all today in any way, in any capacity. You know, I don't think it is a big deal at all. I think that it could have been, but I definitely avoided it. Thankfully, I stepped around those landmines. Oh, that's the other thing too. And I should say this too, as we're about to end talking about this and start with Mega Man. Since the incident or the fappening or whatever you want to call it from a decade ago, so many people have done things way more embarrassing than that on the internet. Some accidentally, like me, and some completely intentionally. There have been people who have completely exposed themselves on the internet because they thought that would get them attention. There's people who take their shirts off, who do embarrassing things, who get tattoos on their body, who said awful things, who have done awful things, all because they think acting a fool is their claim to fame on the internet that's going to give them their 15 seconds of fame or infamy or whatever, and that's going to propel them to some kind of notoriety, and they're going to be, you know, like, pertinent forever. 10 years ago, the reason that my occurrence was such a big deal is because that kind of stuff didn't happen all the time. In the last decade, it's almost become normalized behavior. You know what I'm saying? People are doing it on purpose to make money and get attention for themselves, and it's fucking embarrassing. You know, the reason that my moment was notable is because it was an accident and everyone knew how embarrassing it really was. But now these people have no shame. They have absolutely no morals, no values. It's get over by any means necessary because I never intended to have a legit presence anyway. I'm just a clown. That's the thing. You say, oh, well, you'll never live it down. You're right. It'll always be my most embarrassing moment ever, and it will stand in history. But at the same time, if you just take a look at the last decade, tons of people have done far worse, and that's why it's just not a big deal. You know, if it had stayed like, oh my God, the most embarrassing thing, but it's not. So many idiots have done embarrassing things way worse than that it's just nothing. It doesn't even matter anymore. It's like, wait, what? That's really what happened? You watch the moment back and you're like, this is nothing. There's no audio. It's a terrible camera. You can't see anything. You can't tell what's happening. What about this guy who pulled his whole pants down publicly on stream? What about this guy who showed his butthole? What about this guy who takes his shirt off? What about this one? What about this one? We're all far worse things, right? It's only morons who hyperfixate who would ever even think about or talk about it in the modern day. And that's when people say, oh, he doesn't have thick skin or whatever. You have no idea how thick my fucking skin is with all the shit that's said and done about me every single day, and I ignore the vast majority of it. You know, the only time I even address it is someone specifically brings it up in the stream or whatever, but I don't care. I really don't give two shits about any of these morons or any of it. You know, I just go on with my day and say, oh, well, what's the next thing we're doing? Oh, no, not him again. A $2 super chat says, why do detractors think you're a cult leader? I don't know. To my early days as a YouTuber, for those who don't know, when I started on YouTube, within a year of me just making videos, this was before I even monetized the video, someone was disgruntled because they got either like moderated in my comments or banned on my website, and they made an account called DSP Cult Leader on YouTube and started coming up with cockamamie conspiracy theories that, get this, I was trying to brainwash children on the internet. I was like some demented Pied Piper of children, and that if you let your kid watch my videos, your kid will become like a criminal. Like, I'm not kidding. That's what this guy was saying in his content. And the funny part was everyone was like, Number one, that's ridiculous. You know, don't let your kids watch adult content on the internet. That's the responsibility of the adult, not the streamer making the content, right? That's number one. What are you even talking about? Because again, it wasn't my job back then. So like, so even if what you're saying is true, to what end? Because he's not making money on it or anything. You see what I'm saying? There are so many people since the last decade has happened, right, that have done such awful, degenerate, terrible fucking things on the internet. And a lot of times it was done on purpose and intentionally to get attention. It's not like, oh, it was an accident that was embarrassing. These are people who actually did things on purpose to get noticed. Why would you be talking about my incident from 10 years ago in 2026 when there's so much more that has happened since? You know what I'm saying?